Okay, so this is a variation of the hollow body hold. We're gonna add a kind of coiling crunch to it. It's a little bit easier to visualize when you're standing up. So I'll demonstrate a little bit of this coiling movement from standing, and then we'll get down to the ground. So I like to imagine that I'm just kind of holding 2 plates of food right at my shoulders here. So my wrists are bent backwards and my palms are facing the ceiling. So the first thing I'm gonna just work on here is bringing my elbow down towards my hip. So what you'll notice is that I crunch on one side, I'm shortening one side of my body while I'm lengthening the other. So we'll just work on that for now. Here, feel that crunch, and then here on the other side. Once this becomes more comfortable, what you can do is, as you bring your elbow down to one side, you're going to extend the other arm overhead. So you're really thinking about lengthening this side now as we crunch and bring the elbow down to the other hip, and then we come back, and then we're going to switch. So you just go back and forth like this. Once you get the hang of that, we're going to add the hips in. So just to start, we're just going to focus on the hips. We're going to hike one hip up. So what I'm doing is I'm thinking of just lifting one side of my hips up. You'll notice that my heel comes off of the ground. It's going to have to in order to do this. And then I'm going to put it down. My hips are level again, and then lift up the other side. Come back. So just side to side. A little side crunch. And you can see I'm shortening one side as I lengthen the other. Shorten one side as I lengthen the other. And then we can put it all together. So hands up at the shoulders here, holding your plates of food. As I bring the elbow down to one side, I'm gonna hike the same side hip. So I'm pretty much trying to crush the space between my elbow and my hip. Now, as I do that, I'm gonna lengthen the other side. So you feel lots of crunching, lots of lengthening, and then we'll switch. So from back, you can go back to center if you need to, just to kind of reset your brain. These 2 points are gonna come closer together. So I'm gonna hike my hip as I bring my elbow down, and then lengthen the other side. And you just want to go back and forth. Right? Nice sharp exhale as you do this. Okay, once you get the hang of that, we can bring it down to the ground. So you're going to lie down. Now you have to be able to do some sort of variation of the hollow body hold. And I'm going to show you a couple different variations here. So we'll start with the full hollow body hold variation. Arms are going to go overhead. We're going to lift up into this hollow body position. And then what I'm going to do is bring one elbow to one hip, and I'm going to hike that hip up on the other side. Now you can't push off of the ground as you did when you were standing. So you'll have to really think about pulling both the hip and the elbow together. So from here, we're in the hollow body position, and I'm going to hike the hip and bring the elbow together. So again, I'm crunching on one side, lengthening on the other. And then we're just going to switch to the other side. So I'm going to kick that leg out, switch legs. The entire time, I'm going to try to keep my lower back really glued and connected to the ground. Okay, so that's if we want that full hollow body hold. This is a really challenging movement. So we can also start with the knees already bent, and this is going to make it a little bit easier. So arms overhead. I'm going to bring my elbow to one hip as I hike that hip up, and then I'm going to switch. So in this one, I'm not fully extending the legs. And then lastly, if you find it hard to bring those arms overhead, we can just keep the hands at the shoulders as we did when we were standing. So here and here. You'll notice you're going to basically be sweeping the ground with your back and your hips, and you're going to be swinging your hips from side to side, just like this. So whatever variation you choose to do, just make sure that you're bringing the hip hike to the elbow. It's really easy to mix it up. So just take your time, think about what you're doing, and always think I'm compressing on one side and lengthening on the other. So again, this is kind of the easiest version. The next level here. And if you want to make it very, very challenging, we're going to keep both the arms and legs out. give it a try.